Welcome back to Rockford IceHogs TV. Joseph Zakshesky with you alongside forward John Hayden as the IceHogs get set to square off against the Bakersfield Condors tonight here at BMO Harris Bank Center. The first time ever that the Condors have paid a visit to Rockford, Illinois. But John, I want to get this opportunity to officially welcome you to the organization. I know we've been together and been on this long road trip that was 6 games through California and through the Midwest, but now it's a chance to make your home debut here at BMO Harris Bank Center. But for you, I mean, what has it been these last couple of weeks like? I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind arriving to Rockford and then having to jump on a bus and an airplane and pretty much travel the country with these guys.
Well, I think it's actually nice to start with the IceHogs on a road trip. There's that element of bonding with the guys, and it was a pretty successful road trip. So it was a good chance to get to know all the players and the staff, and obviously it was a good road trip, and it was fun to start to develop that chemistry with line mates too.
And there's a lot of line mates that you've already known from previous experiences, from your college days with Yale, even from national junior programs. So there's already some familiar faces in that locker room, let alone what you've seen with the Blackhawks and training camps and development camps.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys from different teams I've played for and training camps and prospect camps. Anthony Lewis sticks out as a guy who I played with for 2 years in Ann Arbor at the national program. So it's nice having familiar faces.
And now you're moving in. This is your first full season as a professional hockey player coming out of Yale. And I just want to kind of get to know your path to hockey. You actually grew up and started your career, if you will, in Chicago, a somewhat Chicago native before moving to the East Coast. But where did you get your start? How did hockey become your passion?
Yeah, I was born in Chicago. I still have family here. It's my mom's hometown. And from there, I actually moved to Denver and lived there for 8 years, started my career, and then eventually made it to the East Coast and spent a couple years in Ann Arbor too. And for me, it made sense to go to Yale. Being in Connecticut, it was close to home, a great education, great coaching staff, great tradition there too. So, it made sense for me to stay 4 years, and I think it really benefited me.
My goodness, so you're talking about Chicago with the Blackhawks, you go to Denver with the Avalanche, and you go to Ann Arbor, so you got Detroit right down the road, and then the East Coast. I mean, who was your team when you followed up? Who did you look after? Because there was a lot of teams in your backyard.
Yeah, definitely the Avalanche to start. They had a lot of success in the 90s. And then once I was on the East Coast, it was the New York Rangers. So I spent a lot of time going to Madison Square Garden, watching those games, watching on TV. It was fun to be a fan, but I think it's nice being a part of this organization now.
Now you move on to your college career with Yale. That's certainly impressive in and of itself, just to go as a student, but let alone a hockey player. I mean, how did you juggle that workload? Because from what I understand, it's not that easy of a school to get into. So how did you manage hockey and the workload that an Ivy League school presents?
I think it starts with just learning from the older guys on the team who have been through it for a few years. Whether that's managing your homework time on a practice day or whatnot, but guys do a good job, and they make it work, and the professors are really accommodating.
Now you're a political science major, I read, so does that mean we're looking at a future senator of Illinois here coming up shortly? I know your career just began, but it looks like you got something pretty well lined up when you hang the skates up.
I think politics are pretty crazy these days, so I'll stick to hockey for as long as I can.
Well, John, I appreciate your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
For John Hayden joining us here on IceHogs TV, we'll be back with more. You're watching Rockford IceHogs Hockey on the IceHogs Broadcast Network.